So today I just wanna, on the spur of the moment, while I'm in my favorite woods in the world, I was inspired with or a thought that I often had, and it was when I first had it revelationary. Is that well? Let me first kind of tell you how I arrived at it, a conclusion that was revelationary for me. So since I can remember, as I was growing up, I would look around, the people around me in my life, and the ways they were that I thought, oh my god, if I could only be like this, then I wouldn't be experiencing this heartache, this pain, this discomfort, this unpleasantry, this humiliation, this whatever other kind of feelings I had that I didn't enjoy having. And then I would spend some time with them, not literally, but like with them as in just in my mind, in my thoughts. And if they're in my life, like my parents or family or neighbors or someone I actually was seeing regularly, then yes, literally I would be with them, but I would be observing them. That's what I meant. And just contemplating and kind of analyzing them as well. Like how do they do that? That thing that I can't do, but if I could, my life would be so much lighter, and I would be so much lighter in my heart and whatever. And every time I did that, I would arrive at a conclusion that they're just not me, or that I just can't. So, okay, to be specific, so kind of you understand more clearly what I'm talking about, is like they would always come too hard. So I would see them as too hard, and I'm like, I'm not that hard. I don't want to be that hard, and I'm not that hard. So I would always kind of like, okay, so I can't emulate that because I'm not that hard. If I'm to do that, I'd have to be hard, and hard in the sense of tough and hard, like tough skin type of thing or whatever, thick skin or whatever the expression. And so I eventually settled and accepted that I'm soft, and I'm overall really soft actually, and so sensitive to other people's feelings, and I can, sensitive to their pain. I could cry far harder for someone's pain than they can, even sometimes, and feel it genuinely. So that's just, I can never be that hard person, and I don't want to be that hard person. So what I'm saying here is that I'm essentially, even though my language is hard and radical, and I am that, all I'm sharing here, it's still, I feel it's quite soft, and it's because I'm kind of the conditioning from people pleaser, which is the sort of flip side of all that softness and sweetness that I carry naturally in me. As a self-defense mechanism, I was a people pleaser just to keep people at a distance so I don't have to deal with them, and because the only way to deal with them was like those people that I found they're actually too hard, and I didn't want to be like them. So I chose to be a people pleaser, which was obviously eventually drained the life out of me, and I stopped it. So I'm now harder than I ever was, but I'm not as hard as these people that I can still remember in my, still maybe in my life, some of them. And so that's it. That's my point. You can be harder, but you don't have to be too hard, and not to feel bad if you're not as hard as someone else. And this came to mind just today because I thought of this guy. I think I may have referred to him in the other previous video. Hold on. Oh, my arm is killing me. I couldn't hold it any longer. And I'm just thinking, from what I don't know him, literally, I don't know him, and I don't know nothing about him, but I'm going by the voice and by what is producing the content, and I'm imagining, and that's enough for this narrative to unfold and to give me the goods that I'm gonna take from it. And so I imagine him being like one of those hard people that I remember from my life, and that essentially being that individual that just didn't mind, the world, didn't mind being on the fringes of the society, on the outside of the society, openly and loudly and clearly. Didn't mind ever being that, because it just had that. He was designed in the way that, yeah, these rejections, let's say, didn't affect him, but they affected me for decades. cripplingly so. So I'm now, and I'm never going to be like him, but I'm approaching that way of being far more open about it, and just owning my desires to actually be an individual far more than being part of a society that I always had, but I just didn't know how to execute. And my execution is, I'm sure, still hard for some, but it's maybe by his standards. This is total hypothesis. I don't know the person, and it's irrelevant. But by someone else's standard, my ways are maybe still soft, and that's all fine. That's just the kind of like where you belong on the scale of individuation, and it's not how individuated you are, it's just the flavor of individuation. I think, I don't know if I have a way of measuring, I certainly haven't done it so far, a way of measuring to see if someone who is that hard is more individuated than someone who is as soft as me. Don't know about that, like I say, don't know. That's something to think about. It'll come to me, I'm sure, one day, soon or not. But yeah, so that's all I want to say for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.